So the first thing I do is to make a short taper. You can either do it from 2 sides or 4 sides like I do it here. And I'm making a shoulder right there. And I'm making another shoulder right there, and this is just because so I don't have to forge out a long stem. So I can forge on this side of the anvil and then move over to this one. And here is something I would like to point out that I have learned the hard way, and I don't know if it's, I have my theories at least, and that is to not forge this too thin at the start. Because if this is too thin at the start, then when you're forging the stem, all the vibrations from the iron bar will vibrate and come here, and since it's much thinner here than it is here, all vibrations will stop here and cause problem, in other words, cracks. So when forging this stem, keep it the same thickness and forge it a little bit here and a little bit there, and you should be fine. Now I'm making it thinner here. Another thing to point out that is causing cracks is this corner right here. If you got it too, the angle too, then it's too narrow. This corner here might turn over and turn into the stem, which means it will be a cold shot and you will get a crack right here. That is why I place it like this and forge it. Then it pushes the corner into that direction. So either do like this or use your hammer and hammer it like so. Now I'm focusing on forging the stem into the right thickness. And I'm making a mark here where I want it to cut off, and it's at 5 centimeters, just a small mark there. I will first take a few strikes straight on, and then I use my peen, starting from the middle and forging to the sides, pushing the material out. And depending on the desired shape, I might have to adjust and twist the leaf, and so I get the material where I want it to. But I like it to. I will take another heat and flatten it out a bit more. I like this shape. I also like the texture that the peen pin makes. So I used to leave it like this, but if you want to flatten it out, you can just force this smoother, but I will leave it like this. And here you can double check, see if we got any cracks. This is the critical part, but it looks good. It will show if it's crack later on, so don't worry. Next I'm doing is to making the pattern in the leaf, and I doesn't have to be red hot. Can almost do it cold, but heat it up a little and you don't have to use as much force. It'll make it easier for ourselves, right? Trying to get it symmetrical, even if the nature isn't always symmetrical, so a little asymmetry. And then we are going to bring it to life. It's now quite flat and boring, or how to say, but making it a little bit some waves, and I'm also going to turn it like this. It's become alive. Something like this. Since this will be a pendant, we'll have to forge a loop. That is what I'm gonna do now. If you got cracks, it is here, it will show. But so far it looks good. Now I'm going to cut it off from the bar, so I don't have to pick it up in the middle of the heat. And so placing there, and then I over to the horn and start shaping the loop. We will need a couple of more heats. Trying to get it somewhat symmetrical. Take one more heat and do the final adjustments. Got a little bit bent, so sometimes it's difficult to see, since we'll later see in the close-up that the end of the scroll is much thicker than the beginning, so that might sometimes tricks your eye. Difficult to see how it really looks like, but I think this looks good. I used to, for some reason, when forging something, it used to look, it has to look good from both directions. For some reason it can sometimes look like a perfect loop here, but when turning it, it looks, it doesn't. So always check from every direction. It should be, if that's what you want, to have it symmetrical, it can be so. But I'm happy with this. I'm going to show you a close-up. Take a look.